Humanity Matters.
Hello, I'm Bernie Furshpan, host of Ordinary Heroes here on HMTV at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center. Today I have two very special guests here to discuss their new project, their new enterprise that I think is just incredible. So we're going to get right into it. I have with me today Malek and Mason. Thank you so much for joining me. That's Mason Israel?
Yes.
And Malek Shaw.
That's right. Yeah, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Well, I mean, you guys are really incredible in terms of your innovative idea of something called SocialLite. Now, the term SocialLite is a common term. People know about what a socialite is. It's somebody who's kind of like a social butterfly. They host events. There's a lot of socialites in Manhattan, in fact, but this term is a little bit different. It's spelled differently. It's spelled L-I-T-E. How did you come up with this name?
We came up with the name, as you said, SocialLite has a kind of a common definition, but then also you have the light version of something, the L-I-T-E.
Right.
And so we took social media and we made the light version of it.
It's a brilliant name. It really is. So you guys are pretty excited about this new venture. When did you think of this, and how long has it been in existence?
So essentially, so the real idea started in January of this year. So we haven't really been around for that long, despite the traction we've gained.
So you're talking about 7 months. That's it.
Less. Yeah, less. Like basically.
You've got a lot of people who've downloaded it already. 100,000, 200,000 people?
Actually 600,000 people.
600,000 people in 7 months.
Yeah, the goal is definitely to, make this as big as possible, help as many people as possible. And yeah, the way we stumbled across this was very fascinating. My dad kind of gave us this challenge where he was like, all right, guys, you guys are spending way too much on your phones. We want you to stop scrolling. So I'm going to literally for a month, I want you guys to stop scrolling. And we're like, okay, we'll do that. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you, I'll cake you a nice dinner if you do it. And so we kind of did this challenge, but what we found was it was almost impossible to not scroll because social media basically just builds in these super addictive traps to get you scrolling.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And so we can go into more detail about how all that works, but it was for us, it was very difficult to not do it. So we ended up deleting social media completely to complete this challenge. But the problem with that was all of our friends were on social media. There was a bunch of communication that needed to happen. Our school promotes things on social media. When I was on student council, I needed to see what different events were happening. So it was quite difficult. And so I was like, how do we really make it so I can use social media to be social without all of the addictive traps that they've put in?
Right. So let's backpedal just a little bit and unpack this thing. First of all, let's talk about the problem that you're solving. We do have a problem.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of films right now that are coming out, documentaries about big tech, and really it's all about money, right? They want your eyeballs on that screen for as long as possible. The longer you're on that screen, the more ads will pop up. Whether you click it or not, they're getting paid on it, correct?
Yeah.
And so whether there's a controversy, hate-filled rhetoric, it doesn't really matter. Big tech, they don't care.
No. And the algorithm that is leading you doesn't really know what it is. All it knows is how you engage. And so if it's something that's really frustrating to you, you're still going to engage with that content. You're still going to see that content. Right. And the algorithm is just going to force feed it down your throat because it knows, oh, this is what you're watching.
And you're becoming more emotionally attached to whatever it is that you're reading. And you're getting fed with this addiction more and more and more. They're feeding this addiction, correct?
Exactly.
They're almost like drug pushers in a way, aren't they?
Yes, and social media is the only category besides the drug industry that calls their customers users.
Well, it's true. And the drug of choice is dopamine, isn't it?
It is.
Right, and that's what they're pushing, basically. So let's talk about that. You have infinite scrolling. I call it mindless scrolling, right? Because it's mindless in a way. You're just sitting there with your jaw open and just can't believe what you're seeing. And the more you see it, the more of it you're going to get. Algorithmic reinforcement, comparison and anxiety, attention spans, mental health implications. These are just topics that have been discussed recently by experts, sociologists, psychologists, about what this is doing to society. We have a problem. What is your solution? How are you solving this? And in what way will this actually benefit? Now, you're not stopping anybody from scrolling, but you're making it more efficient, perhaps more healthy for young people.
Yeah, well, actually, we are stopping people from scrolling. That's the beautiful part about this app.
So tell me how this works.
So essentially, if you've used Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, you have the short form content, the scrolling part. Like this is like the short form video. That is where the algorithm can really pick up on exactly what you're doing and just basically, just trap you into feeding you the next video that you feel like you have to watch. And all the people creating the videos are very good at making them super entertaining. There's a whole, and I make a lot of content for our brand, so I understand how the psychology works, but they really trap you in the first 3 seconds, make you feel like you have to watch the video. And then when you're done, it's like there's another perfectly designed video right after. So what we've done is we've actually cut out this algorithm. So SocialLite literally removes Reels from Instagram. It removes Shorts from YouTube. It removes Spotlight from Snapchat, and it basically makes it so you cannot scroll. Like,
but
it's
these
impossible.
are the things that people want. They want the Reels.
I know. That's the crazy thing.
So how do you solve this? If you really have a lot of people who have downloaded it.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're using it, right? And do you have metrics on how many people are using it actually once they've downloaded it? And how long they're using it for?
Yeah, so like every single day, around 50,000 people are logging in and using SocialLite.
That's great.
And the craziest thing though about this is like people do really like this. They've realized that the scrolling is addicting. And like, of course, there's people that really want to watch the short form content, but there's also a lot of people that are really like, I don't need this in my life anymore. Like, I really just want to use social media to be social, and those are the people that we really cater to.
Understood.
And that's that's the main thing, and that's the beautiful part about SocialLite is you can still stay connected with your friends. Right. But yeah, we fully cut out the algorithm. We fully cut out ads as well, which is kind of crazy. Like you can't see any ads or the posts. Like when you're scrolling on social media, like whether Facebook or your Instagram feed, Instagram and Facebook will feed you these recommendations. It's like, oh, this person. And when you have like, a bunch of people that you've met across your life, it's like, wait, how do I know this person? Do I know this person? Like, oh, is this somebody I actually follow, or is this someone that the algorithm is putting in? You can't really even tell.
Right.
And
you don't know what's real or not.
You don't know what's real or not. You don't know if, the content that you're feeding you is somebody that actually knows. So we're like, we're just going to cut all this out. We're going to make it so you can only see posts from people you follow. So that way, there's no distractions. The second you see it, you know that this is somebody that you follow. There's no way to get into the algorithmic loop of scrolling. Like, I'll give you an example. Like when somebody sends you a video, normally you can watch that video. And then after you watch that video, you can scroll right after.
Right.
And just keep scrolling. We made it so you can watch the video, but then if you try and scroll, it'll literally boot you back to the chat, which is pretty crazy. So
that's amazing. Oh, wow. So I don't know even how you've been able to accomplish that technologically, where you're overriding big tech. Isn't that what you're doing? You're kind of hijacking big tech in a way. I don't know if that's the right word, but you're making it do something else. You're removing some of the components like algorithm.
In essence, yes. I mean, if you look at the history of Instagram and you look at the history of YouTube, both those platforms launched without any form of short form content. YouTube was originally long form learning and interesting long videos. And Instagram was originally a social network. And then you can see in, the last 5 years after the launch of TikTok, and it gained massive popularity, especially with the younger generation, you see that all the other platforms adopted this short form integration, and they've started pushing it more and more heavily to gain users' attention for that monetary benefit. And so we're really just taking the short form content platforms back to what they were like before there was short form content.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. You guys are very excited about your product, I can tell. Yeah.
Yes, I think.
Are you talking to other people about this? Other broadcasters, perhaps, podcasts, television interviews, radio interviews, newspaper articles, anything like that at all? Where people how are people learning about your platform there?
That's a great question.
Your app, I should say.
It's one of the more exciting answers. So Mason actually started promoting this on social media in January, and he just started posting videos about what our app was going to do. Mm-hmm. And those absolutely blew up. The first one got several 100,000 views.
Fantastic.
We got tens of thousands of followers. And I think that really shows how much people want this to exist.
Right.
As you already touched on, people are addicted to the short form scrolling. And, when it's right in front of you, it becomes very easy and very hard to break out of the loop, and you just keep scrolling. But when someone suggests that there's an alternative solution, that idea kind of just got wings and took flight. And so from there, it's just been a case of showing it to as many people as we can. And I'll let Mason.
I mean, it feels like the big tech, they are morally bankrupt. The fact that they don't care about what kids are seeing and doing. They're seeing divisions in this country, religious divisions, political divisions, social divisions, cultural divisions. But you're seeing them, it's getting worse and worse. And it's a lot because of big tech. And we know this for a fact at this point. It seems like they're morally bankrupt. What you're doing is you're pulling the brakes, right? You're putting a stop to this, and you're kind of putting the vehicle in reverse because we've gone a little bit too far with all of this. What kind of feedback are you getting from the public, and how do people let you know that this is making a difference? And are you getting it from parents, young people, or both?
Yeah, this is an exciting question because we have gotten so much feedback over this. One of the platforms, we have our Instagram. We have over 60,000 followers on Instagram. Most people with that big of an account get tons of messages and don't respond to them. We respond to every single one of our messages. We really care about our users. We want to hear what they're talking about. And the messages we get on a daily basis are this has changed my life. I got a message the other day. The guy was like, I literally spent 10 hours a day scrolling on. So I was like, I don't even know how you do that, but it's it's so addicting. I can almost see how you could do that. Right. And so, and they said, I've cut it all out. I really needed that reminder to not scroll, that constant reminder. I can still stay in touch with my friends. It was crazy. And they were like, I've gone to the gym. I look like a different person. My physique is different. And that's the biggest thing. When you stop an addiction, you have to replace it with something else because you've got all this time now. And they're like, I replaced it with all these great things. I'm more social. This person completely changed their life in the span of a couple of months. And it was so beautiful to see. And we get stories like that all the time.
Right. And there must be so many more that you don't even know about.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just the response has been crazy. And what was really interesting to us is this is not just people our age. This is everyone. This is I talk to adults about this and they're like, oh, I have the same problem with Facebook. This is really a problem that affects so many people. Sure. And we're trying to get this out to everyone. We actually have a parent version that's on the way that's going to be able to allow parents to control their kids, but it's not really controlling their kids' devices because we believe there needs to be a collaborative thing. A lot of adults don't really understand. I always tell adults, you guys, you have to really understand, because social media is a very powerful tool if you use it correctly. And you have to understand what your kid is going through, how they use it positively, how they use it negatively. And SocialLite is going to allow parents and kids to kind of work together and collaborate and be like, okay, this is, we still want you to be able to talk to your friends, but we don't want you to have this, these parts of the content. And you'll be able to turn on your, kids will be able to turn on their own SocialLite filters and be able to, have control over their own content themselves as well, which would be really cool.
So the filters that you're talking about, is it an all or none system, or is it scalable?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So as far as the reels go and the short form content on all the platforms, that's a none. We believe that is fundamentally a waste of time and a distraction, and there's no such thing as just a little bit of scrolling because it's all pretty. I mean, yes, you can learn things, you can find a cool recipe, but you can also look that up at the end of the day. So it's we believe that is something that should be fully cut out. I mean, hard stop. As far as the other things, we can filter out a bunch of. We have a way you can block stories. There's a way you can block. Turn your entire Instagram into DMs only mode where you can only message. We're working on Facebook where you can have marketplace only mode. So you can only there's a whole shopping ecosystem on Facebook Marketplace that we're trying to keep just to that. So there's definitely different controls you have, but as far as the short form content, we do believe as far as the all or nothing model, it should be nothing. I mean, that's how it should work.
Did you guys design this by yourselves? Did you use AI to design this app, or did you hire a company?
Yeah, so it's actually just been us building this.
And where do you have the training in building an app?
A lot of it has just been learning on the go. I mean, I have a bit of experience in the back with the developing side. And then the other part is, yes, we have used AI as well. It's it would kind of be silly not to at this time in the world. We initially started promoting the product before we'd even built it. And so then we found ourselves with about 50,000 people asking every day, where is this? I need it. And we had to kind of build it. And so we brought in some of our friends. We used some AI as well to kind of bring things out to the market as quickly as we could. We also kind of lent very hard on the message that we were building this with the community, because we want this to be the solution for everyone. And so we've been really open to feedback. We've been reading every message we've received, and that's allowed us to grow and make sure this app is what everyone wants as quickly as we can.
You guys getting a lot of 5 stars, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have it. And the crazy part was when we released our product, it was actually a pretty crappy product, honestly, because we built it as quickly as possible. And so we released it early. But what was interesting though is, we had this great community of people that wanted to help us build this. So we got a bunch of 5-star reviews off the bat, a bunch of feedback. It was almost like all of our users became testers for us, and then we were able to get feedback. And and Malek has been fully on the Malek and one of our other co-founders have been fully on the development side, and it's just these two that have like literally built this incredible thing in such a short amount of time. And yeah, now we have like all sorts of great reviews pouring in, and it's also great to read the reviews because people are like, oh, this is life changing, this is incredible, and then you also get the reviews that are like, oh, this sucks. Like I can't scroll anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Or, oh, this is slow. I'm like, yeah, the slowness is kind of the point. Like we're trying to make you actually be intentional and think about it, because it's not 100% perfect, because we are taking the website versions of these platforms and modifying them, which is, we kind of have to do that. And so some people will be like, oh, it's slow. Like, I have to wait 5 seconds to load in my Instagram. And I'm like, if those 5 seconds really matter to you, would you really be spending that time scrolling? Right. And it's like it's more of an intentional thing. It really helps you think about it too. And a lot of people like that.
I love the way you guys think. Now, I've been in business for many decades, kind of retired at this point, but I've had partners. It's not easy having a partnership. So what are you guys doing to ensure that this partnership lasts and that you continue to do the work that you're doing? This is great work, by the way. It's more than just running a business. You're saving the world in a way. The way you're doing it, it's very important, because one of the ways in which this world is spiraling out of control is because of the algorithms and big tech and the divisions that you see in the fake news and the imposters online and the hatred that's spewed. All of this is all stirring up this societal divisions, and so you guys are making a huge difference. But I would love to see the two of you and the three of you, whatever it is, however many people you have in your team there, sticking together and following through to whatever your visions are. So this is a two-part question. One is I'd love to hear from both of you what your vision for the future is, and what are you going to do to ensure that this company stays strong, resilient, and that the partnership stays intact?
Yeah, so Mason and I have actually been best friends since first grade.
Oh, that's great.
And we had a business together our senior year of high school.
Really?
So this is not our first kind of
fantastic
venture together.
So it's been tested.
It has, exactly. And I think we're both united with the mission here. I think that, this is something that is so clearly needed, and there's so many people that want this to exist. It kind of drives the project forward. We have people in our DMs asking to contribute. They're asking, how can they get involved? We have people offering to advertise for free, but also developers that are coming and saying, hey, if you need any help, or here's a cool feature to integrate. And so kind of with the community behind us, I don't really think this project could die. It's something that is so needed, and it's something that is so viral because of how needed it is.
I'll talk more about, maybe Malek really hit all the important points, but just as far as the team dynamic, I think we know we work well together. We've done this for a while. We built and sold a company before, as Malek mentioned. But it really, I think what's great is we disagree on a lot of things, but we disagree on them in a good way. And we can really, I think it's good to have alternate perspectives and really be able to work together and find all sorts of new ways and new paths. And I think between the three of us, we have a super great team, and just it is definitely important to just talk out stuff and get get all different perspectives. And like Malek said as well, we have a great force of people and a great community behind us that really help us. They're helping us drive this to the next level.
Fantastic. What is your mission? What is your ultimate mission?
That's a great question. I would say honestly, we had a choice really to. We at the start of it's funny. Of course we work very hard. We want to be compensated for our work. But at the same time, we want to help as many people as possible. And originally, the problem in this app space is that advertising is extremely competitive. And if you don't have enough money to advertise, you lose. That's just the name of the game. Like, there will be someone that has more advertising money. And even if you have a product let's say we made a product that was completely free, right? You would be crushed by someone that made a paid product, and no one would ever find out about your free product. That's the problem with, especially in the app space, but just kind of in general. And so what we've done is originally we were going to make it paid because we're like, A, we want to be able to make sure we can afford to run this, and B, we want to make sure that we're not, going to get crushed by somebody else that's going to, charge even more for it. But what we found was when we kind of talked about it, when we first posted on Instagram, a lot of people were talking about how, hey, I'm in a third world country. We don't have like credit cards. We actually like can't pay for this. Or like, a kid that was like, hey, like I'm not 18 yet. I don't have a credit card. Like, I'm not going to be able to pay for this. Like, or like, I genuinely can't afford anything right now, but I really think this could help me. Like, and so we're like, okay, wow. Like, we took a step back. We were like, how do we really make this something that everybody can have access to, while still making sure that we had, we were able to, help as many people as possible and get the funding we needed to run ads and to do the company. So what we found was, we actually have a completely free version, which blocks all the short form content. And then our paid version does have all of the additional features. So that way we could still give the main features to everyone that needed them, while still letting the people, other people that were able to pay, cover our costs for additional features. And that was like, that's like the freemium app model that we worked out. But it didn't start out that way. It was really, we were very moved and inspired by all the people that messaged us and were like, hey, like, I really need this. Can you please make it free? I won't be able to pay for it otherwise. And that was like really an eye opener for us. And that's why we decided to make it free. Ultimately, it was the people in the community.
Did you ever consider creating some kind of a fund that would pay for those that couldn't afford the premium version?
That's a good question.
Like a charity.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who want kids off of social media, or at least, not being addicted to it for sure. So there's plenty of people out there that I think would support your cause. It's more than just a business. It's a cause. It's a mission.
Yeah, that's a remarkable
It's a movement
idea.
as far as I'm concerned. You're spearheading a new movement, which is to mitigate what the big techs are doing. Now, are you getting any kind of pushback from the big techs at all in any way?
We haven't as of yet, but it's something that we could see in the future. I think that, as you know, big tech is under a lot of it's under the public eye right now, and it's in a bit of trouble. I think we've all seen the lawsuits that are coming their way, and I think it'd be a pretty bad look to come at the two of us.
I agree.
Both 19 and 20, and we're trying to tackle the problem.
Stick to it,
for our generation.
Guys, stick to it. What did you mention? What your vision is for the future?
I think my vision for the future is just to bring this to as many people as possible. Yeah. This is the solution I always dreamed existed. I think before exams and times I knew I needed to focus, I would delete Instagram and I'd find myself back on it about a week later because I was missing the social connection side.
It's the dopamine. And it is.
And I'd feel really left out from like a bit of my social life as well, because a lot of it is on social media now. And so this is kind of the dream solution that I would have wanted and would have helped me to manage things. And so we want to share this with everyone else that it can help.
Absolutely. They're finding that young people are on social media way too many hours, and fewer people are dating because of that. They're just spending too much time on the phone, and they're not developing their social skills, their interpersonal relationships and social skills. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think this is something that Jonathan Haidt actually hits on in The Anxious Generation. Mm-hmm. But the idea is that by having people kind of move more to these digital lives, that they aren't really seeking out the in-person connection.
Right.
And that is so incredibly damaging in the long term.
It is to humanity. But you guys are going to make a difference because people are going to be spending less time and more meaningful time online. And come to some kind of realizations. Like you said, a lot of people have realizations that they were spending too much time on it, especially when you get off an addiction, right? When you get off an addiction, you realize, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing this, right? So good for you guys. You guys are terrific. I'm very impressed and proud of the work that you're doing. You guys live on Long Island?
No, we're actually both from Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, so what are you doing out here?
We came here just to see you.
Is that right? Well,
no.
I am flattered. Well, as we know, Arnie Hertz was unable to do this podcast with you because the loss of his father, unfortunately, and we pray for him and send him blessings. And he gave me this opportunity to speak to the two of you, and I am thrilled that I had this opportunity to meet the two of you, because I believe that you guys are really going to break all kinds of records with the work that you're doing. And I'm going to promote it myself personally and tell young people, because I speak at schools, to, first of all, we talk about critical thinking, right? That's important. But more importantly, we have to mitigate the work that the big techs are doing, and that is to get you addicted to the screens so that they're making a lot more money.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we really want to get into, actually, is speaking to schools. That's kind of our, so I'm glad you mentioned that. We might want to, I want to work with you on that, because that is our next mission, is to really get into this, and also get this into colleges. We want every college to, like you said, paying, a fund to pay for people. We think like every college pays for AI subscriptions for their students now. They should pay for SocialLite for their students now as well. I think that's it's also a remarkable place we're trying to get into for high schools and universities, because it's the biggest attention drain, right, for our generation. So it's like, if you're a school and you can pay, a couple dollars for each student to have, hundreds, if not thousands of hours, every single year back from social media, that's a great investment, in my opinion. So if you're a school out here and you're watching this, you should hit us up. Absolutely.
We're going to put the name of the app on the notes of this particular podcast.
So it's just the word social and then LITE. We have the traction, so we're in the App Store. We'll come up first if you search it, which is great. And then we actually also have the trademark for the name for this purpose.
Fantastic. So. Wow. I wish you guys the very best. I'm going to do what I can to help promote.
Well, thank you.
Your app. I think it's fabulous. This is a great solution for the problem that we seem to have today. And I've been seeking solutions. I didn't even realize that we could do something like this to mitigate, to kind of like take over what the big techs are doing on a social media platform. So thanks so much for joining me today, Malek and Mason. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and for crossing several borders to get here. So I really appreciate that. That is quite the trip. And I wish you the very best. And we're going to do whatever we can to help you guys, for sure. And I want to thank my listening and watching audience today here on HMTV. I'm Bernie Furshpan, host of Ordinary Heroes. These two gentlemen here are beyond ordinary heroes. They are extraordinary. Until next time.
If you enjoyed exploring the information, history, and stories in today's conversation, be sure to check out our other podcasts here on HMTV. Please subscribe, share, and stay connected for more engaging conversations.
Humanity Man.